Hello everyone. So today we'll be discussing on the topic memoization. So um, we are discussing the dynamic programming based algorithms, right? So we completed this one algorithms uh, based on the graph actually. 21 algorithms I believe. So we have completed that entire playlist. You can just check all the algorithms in the graph based graph playlist actually, graph based algorithms playlist. So now from today we'll be starting dynamic programming based algorithms. Yep. First thing, so we'll be starting with memoization and tabulation. First, we'll be going with a memoization. Next, we'll be going with a tabulation. Yeah. So let's see what the definition part says here, right? So memoization is a dynamic programming technique where we store the results of already solved subproblems. So just remember, so we will be usually what we'll do, we will break down the problems into subproblems, right? That subproblems we will be solving that subproblems, right? So that subproblem, the result that we will be storing somewhere, right? We have to store that one somewhere, right? So that's the reason we'll be going with a memoization. Memoization is nothing but it's similar to the cache, right? Caching. Memoizing or memoization is a dynamic programming technique where we store results of already solved subproblems subproblems to avoid the recomputation so that we don't have to compute or calculate that one again, right? So this is fine. Reducing exponential recursion into the linear time. What it does, it reduces the exponential recursion into the linear time. It's as simple as that. Now let's move on with the algorithm explanation, man. First thing, so what do we do here? See, listen to this carefully. It's very simple. We'll break the problem into overlapping subproblems. First, we'll be breaking the problems into subproblems. It's as simple as that. Now, we'll store each computed result in the DP array, right? So for every problem that we have solved, the result will be storing in the DP array. That's what we will be doing. So that's what the definition part said as well. So before computing, we will check if the value already exists, right? So before computing, we'll check whatever the result or the value that is present or not, right? Uh, so we will finally what we'll do, we'll return stored value instead of recomputing, right? So instead of recomputing, uh, instead of recomputing or recalculating, what we'll do, we'll just return the stored value instead of we'll just what do we call return the stored value. That's what we'll be doing. So if you didn't understand everything, this is it's fine. It's completely fine. What we'll do, uh, we'll articulate the same thing in the form of code, and then we'll dry run as well by considering some example that we have considered that we will be considering in the code. So that example itself we'll be considering for the dry run as well, so that we'll understand at the end of the video. I'll make sure that, or I assure that you'll understand the concept clearly, right? So now, for now, let's do one thing. Let's implement the same thing in the form of code. First thing, accordingly with the algo. So let's do one thing. Let's go with some variables, man. Global declaration. So first, let's go with a DP array to store the computed. Let's go with a simple example. Fibonacci values, right? I'll just go with static here. Int. So this one DP, right? So this is fine. Next, let's go with a memoized recursive function. Yeah, let's go with a memoized recursive function. For that, I'll just go with static here, and I'll just go with fib for the Fibonacci. So I just need one parameter n, right? So within the method fib or Fibonacci, so the base case is Fibonacci of 0 is always 0, right? So I'll just go with if n equals 0, then in that case, I'll just return 0. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Next base case is Fibonacci of 1 is always 1. Fibonacci of 0 is 0. Fibonacci of 1 is 1. We know this. Yep. So if you know the Fibonacci. So now if n equals 1, then what we'll do, we'll return 1. Yep, so this is fine. Next, what we are going to do, so if we have already computed, then we will return the stored value. So how can I write that one in the form of code? If dp of n, if it is not equal to -1, in that case, what we'll do, we will return dp of n. will return dp of n. So this is fine. Finally, we have to compute, store, and return the result. So see, I'll just write in this way. dp of n is equivalent to Fibonacci of n minus 1 and I'll just go with Fibonacci of n minus 2. So this is it. We have successfully computed. Then we are storing as well, and we have returned the result. We have done these things. Finally, we haven't returned. So the result for returning the result, I'll just go with return dp of n. Sorry. Yep. So now we are done with the code, man. Yep. So we have computed, stored, and also we have returned the result. Yep. So now we are done with the this one. What do we call? Uh, Fibonacci, calculating the Fibonacci, right? So this is fine. Let me format the code so that this looks good, right? So this is fine. Now let's do one thing. Let's consider a very simple example within the main method. So algorithm is this itself, right? This is it for the algorithm, sorry. Yep. So now let's consider one simple example just for the demonstration, right? So let's do that. Just give me a second, 1 second. So I'll just do one thing. Let me paste this one over here. This is nothing but buffer reader and the print writer. This is completely related to the input output part. Now I'll just go with very simple example one. I'll just consider n equals 6. So n is the parameter that we have considered within the Fibonacci method, right? FIB method. So now let's initialize the DP array as per the algorithm. So I'll just go with DP equals new int of size n plus 1 just for the safety. So this is fine. Now what shall we do? We have to fill the DP with -1 to mark uncomputed states, right? So this is completely accordingly with the algorithm that we'll be doing this. Again, we have to fill the DP with -1 to mark the uncomputed states. For that, I'll just go with arrays.fill. Initially, let me go with the DP and -1. Yep. So this is fine. Now we have to compute the Fibonacci using memoization. So for that, I'll just consider result here and let me assign this one to Fibonacci of n. It's as simple as that. Now what shall we do? So we are done with the algorithm. We are also done with the this one example part as well. All we have to do is we have to print the result. We are left with only one thing, nothing but we have to print the result. As we are going with print writer, see here, instead of the this one system out println, I'll directly go with the out.println. Yep. So let me go with out.println. Let me pass the result variable. The result variable we have considered result itself, right? So yeah. Finally, let's go with let's flush the output. So for that, I'll just go with out.flush as we have considered print writer. Now, so this is it for the code, and this is it for the example part as well within the main method. Yep. So let's check. Do we have any error? Do we have any typos or the errors? No, right? I believe we do not have any error. So yeah, before writing the code, before running the code, let's do one thing. Let's dry run the code so that we get to know whatever the code that we have written is correct or not, and also we get to know the this one, the output for the example that we have considered. These two things we get to know. Yep. So let's dry run the code, and later we can come back here and run the code that we have written. First, let's dry run the code. So let's continue with the dry run. So n we have considered 6, right? Within the code, within the code actually, the example that we went with is nothing but n equals 6. First, what we'll do, accordingly with the code that we have written, so we have to consider Fibonacci of 6, right? So Fibonacci of 6 is nothing but, so this will be Fibonacci of 5 plus Fibonacci of 4. Yeah, Fibonacci of 5 plus Fibonacci of 4. Same goes with the Fibonacci of 5. For the Fibonacci of 5, it will be Fibonacci of 4 plus Fibonacci of 3, right? So let's go with Fibonacci of 4 as well. So this will be Fibonacci of 4 will be Fibonacci of 3 plus Fibonacci of this one 2, right? So this is fine. Finally, we are left with Fibonacci of 3 and 2, right? So Fibonacci of 3 will be Fibonacci of 2 plus Fibonacci of 1, and finally I'll just go with Fibonacci of 2 that is equivalent to Fibonacci of 1 plus Fibonacci of 0. Yep, so this is fine. So this is it for the, so this is how the dry run works actually. So as we have considered this one, n equals 6, this is how the code works, sorry, accordingly with the example that we have considered. Yep, so this is fine. Now, how values are stored in the DP? So let me write here, values stored in DP, right? So let me show you that one. Value stored in the DP, let's consider the same. Yep, so this is fine. Now, first DP of 2, DP of 2, this part, DP of 2 will be initially 1 because DP of 0 and 1 is nothing but 0 and 1 respectively. Initial DP of 0 is 0, DP of 1 is 1. So we have written that one, right? So DP of 2 will be 1 itself, and 0 plus 1, it would lead to 1 itself. Then we'll be going with the DP of 3. Yeah, the value DP of 3 will be nothing but it will be 1 plus 1, which will lead to 2. Next, it will be DP of 4, DP of 4, right? It would be 2 plus 1, nothing but it would lead to 3. Yep, nothing but here Fibonacci of 2 plus Fibonacci of 1, right? So next it would be DP of 5. 5 is nothing but 3 plus 2, it leads to 5, this part. Yep. Yeah. Finally, Fibonacci of 6. Fibonacci of 6 is nothing but 5 plus 4, DP of 5 plus DP of 4, right? Or nothing but this one, Fibonacci of 5 plus Fibonacci of 4, right? So this one will be DP of 6 will be 5 plus 3, nothing but it leads to 8, right? So output that we need to get here, or output that we have got here is 8, sorry. Yep, so output that we got here is 8. So this is the dry run, it's simple, right? So yep, so this is it for the this one, a very simple example for the memoization part actually. Yep, so this is how the memoization part works, right? So this is fine, I believe. Yep, so this is it for the dry run, man. So now let's do one thing. Now we have discussed the algorithm part, we have written the code. Now we have try run by considering the example that we have considered within the code. That also we are done. So we are left with only two things. One is running the code that we have written, and if everything goes well, we have to discuss the complexities for the code that we have written. Yep, let's do that. So now let's run the code that we have written. Yep. So let me scroll. Yeah, I'll just run the code that we have written. Yep, you can clearly see here the output that we have got here is 8. So the same thing, we have discussed this one. We have already tried on the code accordingly with the example. We got the same output. So we have got the desired output. Yep, we have got the desired output, and we are left with only one thing, nothing but this one, discussing the complexities for the code that we have written. So whatever the code that we have written works absolutely correct. Now let's discuss the complexities for the code that we have written. Let's do that. So what will be the time complexity here? The time complexity for the code that we have written would lead to big of n. So why it is big of n? Because see, each Fibonacci value is computed exactly once, as we know, right? So overall time complexity would lead to big of n, right? Overall we are considering, so it would be big of n. So what would be the space complexity here? Space complexity would lead to big of n as well. So why the space complexity leads to big of n? Because we are making use of the DP array, as well as we are going with a recursion, right? So we are going with a memoization, and memoization uses recursion, right? Unlike tabulation, tabulation uses iteration, whereas memoization uses recursion, right? So we are going with a DP array, and we are making use of the recursion stack. So overall space complexity would lead to big of n. So the time complexity and the space complexity for the code that we have written would lead to big of n and big of n respectively, right? So this is it for the memoization concept. Next, we will be discussing on the topic tabulation. Yep. For now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.